Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for our October NPU-J meeting. And I will call the meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. Thank you all for being here. You could have been anywhere else. And like one of my pastor friends always say, it's better to be seen and not viewed. So first of all, I'll start out with a few announcements, and then we'll go into the approval of our minutes for July and August, and the approval of the agenda. First of all, I wanted to say this has been a wonderful 2 years for me and the team that I've worked with. And I would like to say if there are any questions about the things that we have accomplished over the past 2 years, because I was vice chair 1 year and chair actually for this past year. If there are any discrepancies or any doubt as to the things that we've accomplished, what you can tell people is that as far as development, we've accomplished the True Light Haven, which is a senior affordable housing facility. Mr. Abebe's property, which is another senior housing, affordable housing facility on Donnelly Hollowell. The Vincino Group, which is based on AMI, which is on Donnelly Hollowell. Grove Park Gardens, which is on Westlake, which is AMI affordable housing, and Quest 35, which is located on Holly Street. And some other things that we've done, accomplished over the last 2 to 3 years is the VEO. You see their new administration building on Westlake. We have the Grove Park Theater, Woodson Grove School, the YMCA, a health clinic, a restaurant on the way, which is Bankhead Seafood, a new law office on Donnelly Hollowell, which is the old Bank of America building, Kip Collegiate High School, which is the old Turner High School, secured a 99-year lease for their high schoolers. As far as a park, we have a new West Side Park, which is in one of our neighboring NPUs. We have Center Hill Park. They formed their Friends of the Park, and they're in the process of seeking grant funds for a new bike and hiking trail. Anderson Park, which is a park that's in Dixie Hills, a 66-acre park, which we're through our Friends of the Park group doing a mural with the local artist by the name of Derek Jackson to capture some of the rich history. We're going to capture Judge Hatchett, Charlene Hunter Galt, Hamilton Holmes, Chief Akins, Herman Perry, just to learn Herman Perry, just to capture a few, a couple of our convenience stores. We've forced them to be good partners and support the NPU, and of course, with the cleaning, dumping, blight, and speeding and illegal businesses, that's ongoing, but we still are working together to resolve the problems. We've partnered up with Commissioner Hall's office, who'll be co-hosting a health fair with GPCC, the Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition. So calling all men out to get your prostate checked. It's called PSA. They'll do blood work. We've worked really closely with our surrounding neighboring NPUs, which is NPU-I, NPU-G, and NPU-K. We've developed some good relationships. We have some very strong committees. I'll start out by saying the bylaws committee. We have a very good set of decent bylaws, but the bylaws is a fluid document and things can be changed. So we're still working on proposed amendments. The communications committee and zoning. We have a new NPU-J news hotline. We have signs around the community, MailChimp, our website, www.npujatlanta.com. Go and check it out. We've built up our social media presence. We have our education committee. We did a lot of talk about it Tuesdays. Our finance committee, we did get grant money. Health and wellness, Ms. Khan has hosted 8 to 9 health and wellness initiatives on the first and third Wednesday. We've had the CEO of Grady, Dr. Ellison, and Dr. Peter Glegg, all the way from Jamaica. And our nominating committee, which it was headed by Reverend Thurston, but he had some tragic events that happened in his family. So Reverend Dr. Elegant took his place. And that team developed a full comprehensive training video for our election process, which is, I think, is cutting edge. And our public safety committee, which is, wasn't really up and running, but we've had a good relationship with Major Collier, and he's been extremely, extremely, extremely responsive. So if anybody has any questions about what we've been doing, not I, but we as a team have been doing over the last 2 years within NPU-J, those are some things that you can share with them. And they'll also be on our website under a tab called accomplishments. And now, if you could pull up the agenda, please.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The minutes come before agenda. If you could pull up our July and August minutes. I guess you can do July.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
All right, July minutes. Here we go. Oh, that's the agenda, sorry. I don't have the July ones, Kiana.
Can you check your email?
Yeah.
I sent them like late last night.
Yeah.
Well, can you do August now? Just pull up
Let's
August.
pull up August.
And then go just be searching for July.
Okay, here's the July minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, if you just scan through the July minutes. These minutes will also be located on our website. All right, can I get a motion to adopt, the July 2020 NPU-J minutes as printed, please?
A motion.
Second.
All right. Any discussion or any discrepancies? All right, if not, motion carries, by unanimous consent. Now, could you do the August minutes for us, please?
Yeah, I think that one had a problem with the file, Kiana, when you sent it. I may not be able to open that one up. I think it was corrupted or something.
It was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll move forward, but
Okay.
understand and know that the July and August minutes are ready to be viewed. We'll move on. If you could pull up the agenda, please.
Mm-hmm. You see it, right, Kim?
Okay, I see it.
Yep, okay.
All right, can I get a motion to adopt our October 27th, 2020 agenda as printed?
Offer motion
I
to.
motion.
Could you state your name, please, with the motion first?
Dan Showman.
All right, is there a second?
Second, Elizabeth Thompson.
All right. If there are no discrepancies and no discussion, the motion passes by unanimous consent. And at this time, the fourth item on our agenda is the official officer elections. So what I'll do as the chair, I'll yield the floor to the nominations committee chair, which is Reverend Dr. Elligan, and afterwards he will yield the floor back to me. Thank you.
Excuse me, Madam President, may I speak? This is Ms. Sanchez, the Bylaws Committee Chair.
We're gonna hold all questions at this time because we need to go, we're gonna proceed with our, if you could text me your question, please, but we're gonna move forward. We're on item number 4, the official officer elections. Reverend Dr. Elligan, are you on?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a question. I just had a statement that right now we were in violation of our bylaws, but you can continue, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
To Kiana Jones, Madam Chair, thank you so much for your vote of confidence in my competence and capacity to serve as chair of the nominating committee. It has been my honor. Good evening to the members of the NPU-J neighborhoods and general body. My name is Reverend Elligan, and I am a servant leader, and my pure agenda is to please God and to glorify Him. That's who I ultimately work for and report to. My role as the chair of the nominating committee is defined per the bylaws, Article 4, Section 8 and 9. Our ultimate goal and objective as a committee were to, number one, to be open and inclusive to members of the NPU-J who stated an interest in being a part of the nominating committee to the best of our knowledge. Number two, to provide a fair and transparent nomination and election process of integrity that yield trusted results. And then number three, to do due diligence in presenting a slate of qualified candidates based on the bylaws as potential officers for the year 2021. Please respect the dedicated due diligence of the nominating committee. And with that thought in mind, please allow me to acknowledge the faithful members of the nominating committee. Ms. Vanessa Stanley, Ms. Addie Calhoun, Ms. Rhoda Spence, Ms. Reverend Nanella Graham, Mr. Benjamin Norman, Ms. Tony Sutton, she was as well our secretary, Mr. Tobias Trapp, and a few others attended our last meeting, but thank you all so much for your participations. We met several times as a committee between late August, September, and October. We presented the nominating, election, and voting process along with a slate in September in the general body meeting. We sought to educate all members on the election and voting process per a video and written instructions a week before the October general body meeting through an email blast, MailChimps, Facebook, Nextdoor, and the NPU-J website. Here's the agenda and the order for our team presentation tonight. If you would, please be patient with us, and we will attempt to answer all questions at the proper time. I do want to allow Ben the opportunity to give or to do another attendance sweep so that when we go into our presentation, we can continue, and I do not have to step back to the mic until I'm on to do so. But first in our presentation will be, again, the video of the voting method. It will be by Benjamin Norman. It's about a 3 to 5 minute presentation. Some of you all have heard it, watched it. Others may not. Please be patient. Secondly, we will have the written instruction of the voting method by Rhoda Spence, and some are on their mobile device and perhaps cannot see the video. So we thought we would also, in addition to provide the written instruction. Third, we will go over the nominating procedure that we use. In an effort to be transparent, Ms. Addie Calhoun will read the nomination procedure. It will also be on the shared screen so that you can see the exact process that we use and try to be as transparent as we possibly could have. Then the slate of officer and the response to the questionnaire that we provided to each candidate will be read by Ms. Vanessa Stanley, and the response will be read by Reverend Graham, one of the questions that was asked each candidate, so that perhaps if you do not know the candidate, you will have just a little bit more information about the candidate. Fifth, we will have nomination from the floor. It'll be open. Sixth, we will do the voting and the election process per what the video and written instruction has provided. Ultimately, 7, we will be able to present the results, and Benjamin Norman will do that. And then I'll come back with the closing remarks. And then at that time, we will turn it back into the hands of our chairperson. And so your cooperation body, general body of NPU, certainly would be appreciated. The video of the voting method, the written instruction of the voting method, the nomination procedure, the slate of officer, the response to the questionnaire, the nomination from the floor, voting and election, and then the presentation of the result. If there are, if everybody that is on ready to present, then let's move forward. Ben, do you need to do an attendance sweep again at this time?
Yes, let me just kind of check some folks. I know there's a couple of new folks who have dialed in, so I'm going to call off some numbers, and we're trying to identify if you're living in the NPU or have business in the NPU and qualify to be a voting member tonight. So there's a phone number with the last 4 digits, 3807. 3807.
It's Rhoda.
That's right. Okay. I'll rename you. All right. Next number, 9197. 9197.
Alicia Stevenson. Alicia Stevenson.
Okay. Alicia Stevenson. And what neighborhood are you with, if you don't mind me asking?
Dixie Hill neighborhood.
Dixie Hill. Okay. All right. I see a couple of others join using the app. Gil Robinson, are you part of the NPU? Or Justin Bleeker?
Yes, I am. I live in Grove Park.
Okay. One second. Okay, Kevin Bacon.
Good evening. I'm not a voting member. I'm
Okay.
here on behalf of the Department of City Planning. Thank you.
All right, thanks. See someone that just has LG Astro 3. All right, someone with Nunn Smith.
Not a voting member.
Okay, thank you. All right, I believe that I forgot everybody identified, but I just want to ask if anyone does not see their name as a voting member and wish to vote, now's the time to speak up. If you're dialed in with a phone and you're muted, it would be *6 to mute and unmute.
I'm Deborah Williams. I am a voting member, NPU-J, Center Hill Community.
All right, thank you, Deborah.
I'm Addie Calhoun, Center Hill, voting member.
You're the last 3 digits, 0033, right?
No, that's Samantha Watkins, Grove Park.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
0033. Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second. Miss Addie Calhoun, let's see, are you on the app or you dialed in on a phone line?
I'm on the app. I'm on my computer. Oh,
And what name well, yeah, I'm trying to see what name you're identified as. So already have you?
should be Addie Calhoun.
Already got you. Hang on, maybe I already got you identified. Here. Michelle, if you could speak again, I think it's not pulling up your name. I'm not seeing it. Just speak again so I can see who's making the noise.
Actually, I see me, but Chris had to send me the link. And so I see Chris Barton.
I got it. That's what when you register, you're registering under your specific ID. Let me rename you. That would be why it is. Okay. Okay, I've got you now. Thank you. All right, anybody else? All right, well, thank you.
Ben, there's a few names in the chat that were mentioned.
Okay.
Can they speak up?
Tori, Ashley, and Leah. I know Ashley's driving right now.
Ashley Pruitt. Okay, I see.
Hi, Ben. My call dropped. I didn't know if I know I was identified as voting, but my call dropped. I had to rejoin, so I just wanted to make sure my status was correct.
All right, let me get you.
Be careful if you're driving.
Thank you. Will do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello?
Yes, hi.
I'm Tom McDowell, making the way. I'm a voting member.
Okay. What's your phone number? What you dialed in the last 4 digits?
2366.
Yeah, Terrence McDonald. Okay, we got you. Thank you. Yeah, you're identified.
All right, thank you.
All right.
One other, please.
Yeah, is that Darnell?
Dan Ashley from voting member.
Yep, you're a voting member. All right. I've got Ashley Pruitt identified from the chat. And we got Tori.
Oh, hey, this is Ashley Pruitt. I'm here.
Yep. Okay, I think that's everybody.
That's everybody. Let me just reiterate the due diligence of the nominating committee to provide a fair and transparent nomination and election process of integrity that yield trusted results. I need everybody, if you can, mute your phone or your mobile device. And again, the committee and its due diligence to provide a fair and transparent nomination and election process of integrity that yield trusted results. Thank you so very much. I believe that there are some leaders that are out there and in terms of future that are watching our process, and I want to make sure that we model the behavior that is expected as current leaders. At this time, the order has been presented, and as you have been asked to, would you step forward and present, and Ben will provide whatever in the shared screen location. Your turn, Ben.
Okay. I'm going to show a video that we put together for how the voting method will take place tonight. So let me Share the screen.
Are we supposed to hear the sound?
Oh, you don't hear the sound? Okay.
Can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Okay, hang on one second. Hang on one second. Okay, we got it now. Here we go. Hi, welcome NPU-J members. This is a training video on how NPU-J eligible members will be able to vote during the 2021 officer election, which will be held on Tuesday, October 27th, 2020. Per our NPU-J 2020 bylaws, Article 4, Section 8A states, for annual election of officers, voting shall be closed ballot with poll captains or by hand count with poll captains. The nominating committee will make a recommendation to the general body as to the method of voting. The recommendation from the nominating committee is to conduct voting based on a virtual hand count using the Zoom application raise hand feature. The nominating committee came to this conclusion as the easiest, most flexible, and most transparent way to conduct this year's election. The reasons are as follows. 1, we are only meeting virtually over the Zoom platform, so no paper ballots can be distributed. 2, first-time attendees to the October general body meeting will be eligible to vote per our approval of a motion in September to give attendance credit for March, April, and May due to the City of Atlanta's COVID-19 shutdown. 3, nominees from the floor can be included in our real-time voting process. 4, this method is the most inclusive for our dial-in, landline, phone-only attendees, since they will be able to virtually raise their hand to cast their votes by typing *9 on their phone keypad. Several alternative methods of voting were evaluated during the method selection process, including Zoom polls, Election Buddy, and Mentimeter. To ensure accurate tallies and to preserve the votes for our video recorded minutes, the NPU-J secretary and poll captains will be reading aloud the names of voting members as they raise their hands virtually for the candidate choices. For members using a smartphone app, touch the phone screen and the menu pops up at the bottom. Under the More button, click the Raise Hand button. And to lower your virtual hand, simply click on the Lower Hand button. For members using a desktop computer or laptop, click on the Participants tab button at the bottom screen menu. Click the Raise Hand button. And when the hand is raised, you see the blue hand raised beside your name. And to lower your virtual hand, simply click the Lower Hand button. For members using a dial-in phone, to virtually raise your hand, simply type *9 on your phone keypad. And to lower your virtual hand, again, type *9. All right, now we're going to conduct a simulation for how the election will be conducted. So when we have an officer position, we'll have our slate of candidates, and to conduct the voting, we're going to pretend we're choosing for the chairperson, and we have candidate A and candidate B. So for those that want to vote for candidate A, raise your hand. And then we will be calling each individual's name so that we have a voice confirmation of all the voting members who raised their hand for a specific candidate. So for candidate A, I see Smith is raising their hand. So there's one vote, Smith, for candidate A. Thank you. Now I'll lower all the hands as the administrator. Now candidate B, everybody who wants to vote for candidate B, raise your hand. There's one vote for candidate B from Will. All right, I'll lower the hands as the administrator once all the voting is tallied. And that concludes our example of how to conduct a voting using Zoom during the election.
Thank you. Rhoda?
Miss Rhoda emailed me stating that she asked me to send her the link. I sent her the link and then she just said that she is blocked. Can you check the waiting room and see if she's waiting to be let in or something? I don't know if she got bounced off or what.
Well, we don't have the waiting room enabled, so I guess she's just having some kind of connectivity issue.
Okay.
Okay, I'll step in. So basically what Rhoda was going to do was reiterate the written instructions. Basically, and also I want to do a tally and a test if everybody want to practice raising your hand, just so we can make sure everybody's comfortable. If you're on the app, you would just click that raise hand button as you saw in the video. If you're dialed in, you can hit *9 to raise your hand. And we just want to be sure everybody practiced once and understood how to do it. Is there anybody confused and doesn't know how to raise their hand virtually? Okay. If you want to lower your hand, you can do it now. Practice lowering your hand. Again, it's *9 if you're dialed in on the phone. Okay. All righty. Last chance. If anybody's confused or needs some assistance, just let me know. Speak up.
Let's move, Bill.
All right.
We good?
Go ahead. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Terrence.
Yes, I'm pressing *9, but I'm not being. Are you noticing that?
Yeah, we see your hand is raised right now. So if you type *9 again, it should go down.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing some dial-in people practicing raise their hand. That's good. *9 will raise it and *9 will lower it.
So at this time, we would normally have our written instruction, especially for those who are on the phone. We're going to give about 30 more seconds for those to practice, but I want to move forward to expedite the time. I want to be totally fair and totally open for the opportunity to participate. Are there others being still practicing?
I believe we're good.
Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, let's do the nomination procedure. Ben will share it on the screen, but Miss Addie Calhoun will share it with us verbally.
Good evening, NPU-J. The officer nomination procedures for 2020 were: all nominations for officers were to be submitted in writing with nominee contact information made available to the nominating committee. There was a nomination eligibility list made available to the committee and to the general body upon request. The deadline to receive the nominations was October the 6th, 2020. The nominations were to be sent via email to Ms. Antoinette Tony Sutton and copied to the chairperson, Pastor Elligan. 2 members of the nominating committee were assigned to contact nominees, provide applications via emails to the nominees, and compile responses from the nominees for the committee to review. Nominees received an application to include responses regarding their name, neighborhood association, eligibility, age, primary address, and the following 3 questions. Why are you interested in serving in this position? What qualities do you possess that will enable you to carry out the responsibilities of this position effectively? And the 3rd question, what is your view in respect to leadership, and how will you use it to move NPU-J forward progressively and positively? The deadline to complete and return the applications was October the 16th. The nominating committee finalized a slate of candidates and the method of voting during its meeting held on October the 19th. The slate of officers will be presented at tonight's October general body meeting.
Excellent. Okay, at this time, we'll have the slate of officers by Ms. Vanessa Stanley. And along with her will be Reverend Graham that will read one of the answer per the questions that were asked each candidate.
Ben, put up the slate, please. Okay. The slate of officers for Chair, Rolanda Powell. Man.
And the question that was asked was, why would you want to serve in the position for which you are being considered for nomination? And it says, her response was, it is with great pleasure that I accept my nomination for chair of NPU-J. As a proud Atlanta resident, I am passionate about community engagement. I have a solid track record of activity, participating in building and shaping communities, and I enthusiastically empower others to do so.
Vice Chair, Chris Bartlett.
The same question was asked. His response was, to be nominated for NPU Vice Chair is both humbling and inspiring. I have been to enough NPU-J meetings and events to know to serve on the board is a selfless gesture and one that comes with no extrinsic feedback. A person serving NPU-J in any formal or informal capacity is doing so because they are passionate about their community. I would like to serve as vice chair for the opportunity to champion the other board and committee members, and especially the active member body of NPU-J for their participation in improving their community. I believe in the power of hyper-local democratic process to improve communities and increasingly reach each member. Participation would be the highest priority.
Secretary, Tim Cook.
Tim Cook's response to that same question was, I am interested in the position of secretary because it is an often overlooked but important position for the operation of an NPU. As an active resident of NPU-J, I am eager to find ways in which I can become more involved in the work and serve where there is a need. I look forward to gaining more experience in leadership through this position and contributing my own experience and skills to the executive committee of NPU-J.
Assistant Secretary Tony Sutton.
Ms. Sutton's response says, it has been my pleasure to serve as Assistant Secretary for NPU-J for the past year. It has taught me to learn how to work with different individuals within the organization and improve on my listening skills, on the ability to understand various ideas and opinions of members, and enhance my skills of communicating in doing so.
Treasurer Ashley Sanchez.
Ms. Sanchez, why would you want to serve in this position? She said, I want to serve as treasurer to assist with leading our neighborhood planning unit, utilize our cohesiveness for regained to regain trust of our communities and provide support to our executive leadership to continue our accountabilities of our positions to ourselves and our neighborhoods.
Parliamentarian Virgil Penny.
The response was, I want to serve as parliamentarian to ensure that everyone's voice is heard. We do that by our bylaws. And that's it.
Great. That's the slate that the nominating committee developed, having done its due diligence. We provided an application to, we responded to everyone that were nominated, and we sent an application to be completed that included name, that included the neighborhood, the eligibility in terms of age, as well as in terms of primary address. And we followed up with the questions that were asked per each candidate. And this is the slate that we provided. At this time, I want to go forward. If there are any, if there are not any nominations from the floor, or if there are some nominations from the floor, I want to open that before I start the voting process.
This is Dan Choman from Making Away Housing. I want to nominate Miss Elizabeth Thompson for chair.
Say your name again, please.
Daniel Choman from Making Away Housing. I want to nominate Miss Elizabeth Thompson for chair.
The only challenge that I have in accepting your nomination is that we are not able to do our due diligence with Miss Elizabeth in terms of her permanent address.
I believe it was stated in the last meeting that she could be nominated because she has a property here as far as Making Away is concerned, and been here for 18 years. And this is also a business address. So that is part of her organization for 501c3.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Let me just reiterate per the bylaws that it has to be the primary address of the actual candidate only per the chair. And what I had to actually do per the chair is to verify that particular address. I do not have the due diligence to verify that particular nomination address. I had the opportunity in advance to do that. We discussed that with the person that you are nominating in order for that to be resolved in anticipation of it being an issue, and it was never resolved. And we did our due diligence to make sure that that occurred. But per the bylaws, it has to be the primary address. We did our due diligence.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Reverend Graham?
Yes, Reverend Elegant. I would like to make a motion to the chair, Madam Chair.
Now, hold on. Who chair?
Well, I have to make the motion to the chair.
To me.
To you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I move, Reverend Elegant, that we submit the slate of officers that have been presented tonight to be the officers for 2021 for NPU-J.
Do I have a second?
Excuse me, this is Leah. There are questions in the chat that seem to be ignored, and someone also has their hand raised. I will also point out that in the September meeting, I did ask if all the names that were nominated would be included on the slate, and I received a verbal commitment, which I believe was recorded in that meeting, that every name submitted would be included on the slate. There was no comment about only if due diligence was done or anything. The commitment was that any nominations would appear on the slate. So I just want to go on record, since this meeting is recorded, as a resident of NPU-J, in stating that I'm disappointed to see that the names that were submitted by anybody for whatever reason do not appear on this slate.
I disagree with you. I think we have the names that were submitted on the slate in terms of writing. And we did our due diligence in terms of providing this slate and had any conversation with those individuals.
The gentleman made a nomination and that does not appear on this slate. There's nothing in the bylaws that say the gentleman that spoke, I don't know his name, but there's nothing in the bylaws that state that they will only be added to the slate if due diligence has been done. A nomination can be made from the floor, and the gentleman made a nomination from the floor. It should appear on the slate.
The only thing that I shared is that we provide per a ballot, we would provide a slate and the ballot would include everyone. The only thing that I stated in terms of the gentleman nomination is that we did not have the opportunity, especially per the chair, whereby it specifically says it has to be the primary address, the opportunity to do due diligence. I have no issue with an nomination. I just want to make sure that what we present to the general body is an individual that meet the minimum requirement. And I'm not able to present that.
Okay, can the candidate present for him or herself? Whether or not
did we not attempt to do that with, are you referring to yourself, right?
No, I'm not on the, listen, I'm not seeking any nomination.
Elizabeth, somebody Elizabeth Thompson.
Excuse me, I would just like to make very clear, I am not on anybody's ballot. I am not seeking to be on anybody's ballot. I'm not interested in serving on a ballot.
Excuse me, Reverend Gilligan, she's talking about Elizabeth Thompson.
Ms. Stanley, may I please? Thank you. I would like to point out that I was speaking about the gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, Reverend Elegant, but I'm talking about the gentleman who made a nomination and you stated that you didn't have a chance to do his due diligence and someone just made a motion. It looks like we're moving forward once again without having the body able to have these nominations appear before them. The candidate that he nominated was the vice chair for this year and is the with all due respect, I nominated Ms. Powell in last month's meeting for vice chair. So I certainly have a great deal of respect for Ms. Powell. But Ms. Thompson was a member of this board and has experience in serving on this board. So I think that her nomination should have been taken seriously. Those are my last comments for this evening. Thank you for allowing me to be heard. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And Mr. Daniel is the person that made the nomination. And I apologize. I thought you were Liz. And so let me apologize. That's why I responded, but that statement. So certainly I apologize. The qualification for the vice chair is different than the qualification for the chair. Specifically for the chair, the eligibility in terms of qualification says that the person's primary residence has to be in that neighborhood. It does not state that for any of the other positions. So one could have served in that position with a business or some other type of residence in the area. But for the chair, the primary place of residence has to be in that area.
I understand that, Reverend Elegant, and Liz attested in a previous meeting that that is her primary place of residence in that she spends more than 50% of her time there. That's what she stated, but I'm not going to speak for her. She's in the meeting, and I think that it's fair to us, as members of this neighborhood to allow her to speak for herself. That's really all I'm saying. I think that every nominee should be given a fair chance to speak for themselves.
I'm not disagreeing with you. When Liz was nominated, we provided her with everybody else the actual application. We went through the procedure in terms of what we were going to use. And the procedure was when someone was nominated, we would provide them an application and they would respond to the application. So we're not speaking for Liz, but I appreciate what you're saying. All I want to speak to is the process, not the person. And the process states that each nominee has to be in writing and that we would respond with that person nomination being in writing and receiving their contact information with the application. So I'm not questioning anybody individually. I'm saying, here's the process that we attempted to use that we trust would yield a process of integrity that we trust would yield trusted results.
Excuse me, Chair, may I speak, please? This is Ashley Sanchez, the current Bylaws Committee Chair.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you've spoken about the process, so I just want to, I have the NPU-J bylaws 2021 bylaws pulled up, and I just want to pull up section 8.
2021?
Yes. It reads as follows: the methods of nomination for A, it says for annual election of officers, voting shall be a closed ballot with poll captains or by hand count with poll captains. The nominating committee will make a recommendation to the general body as to the method of voting. And then B, the nominating committee chair appointed by the NPU chair must present a slate of candidates by the regular held September meeting, which I don't think we received, but.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Well, I was in attendance and I didn't receive it.
No, you left
Election
early.
of officers shall be held annually at the regular October meeting. Those persons must be present or have submitted in writing acceptance of nomination to the nominating committee.
That's
These
exactly what we
bylaws
did.
shall not prohibit the nomination of candidates from the floor. So I'm just quoting our bylaws just so that we're clear and there's no ambiguity with anything that's being said tonight. Thank you,
I
sir.
agree, and I'm reading the bylaws with you, and that's exactly what we did. You remember specifically, we discussed the bylaws, but you had to leave early. You wanted to present and time would not allow because you had another meeting. So you were not there in terms of when we presented the slate. We did present the slate in September. Secondly,
Sir, I have to interrupt you. I don't want to mislead the public, and I'm not going to say that that's a true statement. I did make a statement, but there was some questions about our amended bylaws that we were having some questions and issues with, which was why it was taking us so long to make a vote. And at that time, I did not realize that it would take as long as it was going to take. So because there were questions with what we were voting on, I said that I had to leave. But I'm not going to agree with what you're stating. And I just can't mislead or continue to allow our public to be misled with you saying about the process and what's going on, because the due diligence and the process that you're saying has not transpired. But correct. Thank you for your time.
The process has been, we utilized it, we put it up on the screen, and we definitely presented a slate in September per the minutes, et cetera. Do I have any other questions? I'm not able to read the chat and moderate the meeting. If there are
there's a few hands raised, so I guess let's call on those. Let's see, Antonio Roll, you had your hand raised.
Somebody got a question for me?
How about Tobias Trapp?
Yeah, I just wanted to nominate Ashley Sanchez for vice chair, but that's what I was trying to do.
Is that what you're recommending now?
Yes, that's what I had my hand up for.
Okay. Is Ashley Sanchez on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you interested in vice chair?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We have it.
Yeah, point of order though, Reverend, she's also on our slate as treasurer, so can she be on the list for 2 positions?
You may remove me from treasurer. That was not a position that I stated in my answer that I was interested in.
Okay, we good?
Mm-hmm.
Are there other questions that I'm not seeing? Are there other questions that I'm not seeing?
Let's see, there's a few more hands raised. Let's see, Liz Thompson.
Yeah, when I talked to the nominating, I did have some extenuating circumstances, family, so I'm sorry that I didn't respond to your email, but I did talk to the nominating chair and I did explain to them that I do have an apartment at Making Away Housing and I spend more than 50% of my time there, especially during renovations because of the area that we're in. So I'm not understanding where my residency is an issue, because I do have a legal address there with an apartment that I pay for every month. So I'm not understanding how did that come into effect. But, and I did express that to you and Ben. So I don't understand what's going on here. Why is this such an issue?
All I'm stating is that I shared with you what the procedure was. We provided you an application. You did not return it.
Well, I didn't get the first application, and Ben sent it to me the day before, and I had a sister that had COVID, so the application did not take precedence. But I did share with you that I did have a residence at 377 Westchester Boulevard that I can verify.
All I'm stating, and I really don't want to go back and forth with you because I'm not disagreeing with you.
Back and forth with me. I did tell you that I did have a residence that I can verify, that I have a legal address at 377 Westchester Boulevard.
May I speak?
And more than 50% of my time at. And I probably have 30 people online that can verify that. Including my property manager.
May I speak now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just try to be as transparent as I possibly can. We did speak. I did provide you the application. We did have deadlines. The idea of the application would have given me and the committee the opportunity to verify the information that you provided. And it did not happen. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm not saying anything. Hold on, I asked, could I speak? I asked, could I speak? And I allow you, I humbly shut up and allow you to speak. I appreciate the respect in return. That's all. I'm only trying to address the procedures that we use, the process that we use, and that I was trusting that it yielded the results. We did speak. You did share that. I did share with you the process as well as the application as to why I was calling you.
May I ask a question? This is Daniel Gelman from Making Away Housing. All right, so in this process, if somebody else is nominated from the floor or vice chair or secretary, how are you going to do due diligence and ask them all the questions that you put into emails from the other location for the other chairs or other nominees? Were you going to ask them the same questions on the floor?
Not from the floor. The difference between the chair versus the other position has a specific statement that involves the primary resident.
Okay.
Hold on. Give me an opportunity to respond. That involves the primary address of the candidate, in which we have to verify. That's the only difference. Otherwise, we would accept the nomination.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So what makes how do you verify their residence if she's here the majority of the time rather than her own home? How do you verify that?
Let me try to answer by a form of identification, driver license, state ID, and or a utility bill in your name. That's the normal process.
Okay, so she has utility bills in her name. So how does that not?
I'm not disagreeing with that. You asked me a question, I answered it.
I'm asking you another one, that's all.
Okay, I just need to verify it, that's all. I need to be able to present to the general body that I did the due diligence in presenting an eligible qualified member. That's all. Nothing toward no one in particular.
Okay.
Hello, I have a question.
Yes, I'm gonna do the best I can to answer.
Yes, my name is Kelly Nubia. I'm a resident of the Center Hill. So you're saying if I can I nominate someone from the floor?
Certainly.
And you're going to verify that person tonight?
If it's for the chair, I have to verify, and it's only for the sake of, hear me now, that there are specific qualifications for the chair that are not per the other positions.
Don't say you
wait, hold on, wait.
Y'all, I spoke for y'all and said y'all had questions about things we voted on.
And the moderator
Well, what's the point of the meeting? And if we still got questions, And then when I ask, okay, who have questions? I don't know.
Can someone mute
To
the
the
audience?
chair, this is
Yes.
Virgil, the parliamentarian. I'm going to step in because I think we're getting a little off track here. I think we need to rein back in. If there's a question, present the question to the chair. Please abstain from sidebar conversations. And if you're speaking on a phone and you've made your comment, please mute your phone so that we don't get feedback or disturbance. We're trying to move through a very tricky process here, and we want to make sure that all voices are heard. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, Chair.
Mr. Chair, this is still Kelly Newby. So are you, if I nominate someone for the chair, you will be doing your due diligence
Oh,
tonight?
no, you must have dropped off. Come back, hurry up.
If they can show me verification of their primary address, which has to be, a driver's license, Georgia State ID, and probably a utility bill. If I can verify, that's the only way I can.
Yeah, but you do that tonight. That's what I'm saying.
If I can, I'm doing all I can to make sure that I'm open and inclusive. I'm doing all that I can.
So I mean, I don't know this Ms. Thompson lady. So she presents that information to you tonight. She can't be added.
If I get it, I'm doing the best I can. I'm here.
Okay. That's all I had to think. I sure appreciate it.
Hello.
Yes.
This is Miss Turner from Making a Way. So I am the property manager, and I can provide a residency letter for Miss Thompson.
Let me share with you the verification that I would need. I need a driver's license or a valid Georgia ID, and potentially a utility bill with the address and the person name.
And how long do I have to give this to you?
I'm about to vote right now.
Okay. Okay.
All I shared, and I shared in the beginning, I am attempting to be as transparent as possible, is that we would please respect the dedicated due diligence of the committee that has been working for the last 2 months. This is not a brand new process. The attempt in terms of anyone wanting a position is not just being acknowledged tonight. We've been working on this, and let's be fair, and also let's do it in a manner in which the potential candidates that may be out there yet to be the chair or vice chair would be more than willing to step up because they see that the process that we're using in terms of how we are treating each other is fair. I'm not only concerned about this particular process tonight that I'm leading, but also to set in place the precedent in terms of a model going forward that will be conducive for people to be willing to participate.
Excuse me, may I speak? This is Ms. Sanchez, current bylaws committee chair. And I'm just pulling up the bylaws just to make sure that we're adhering, our process is adhering to the bylaws as well. So when you're saying the due diligence and the qualifications of an office, just even for myself, are you referring to section 9? Where it says to qualify for holding office in NPU-J, each candidate must be an active member as described under Article 3. It says additionally, each candidate for the office must have attended at least 50% of all monthly meetings held within the year prior to the annual election of offices. And it also states candidates for chair must be at least 18 years of age or older, whose primary place of residence is within the boundaries of NPU-J. So is that what you're referring to?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it does not specifically state what you're going to approve. So I guess is that leaving the ambiguity up to you? Because it doesn't specifically state that.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Come on now.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to use in my judgment what is fair and cross what is normally accepted in terms of verification.
Okay, no, that's fine. Well, I just want to also create a fair and open and honest because you've continuously said due diligence. So I just want to also make sure because our current presiding president of president has stated that we need to make sure that we're following our bylaws. So I just want to make sure also too that we're following within our bylaws as they're written right now.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not perfect, and if there's
Okay,
a
no,
means
that's
of
fine. I
correcting,
understand.
okay,
I understand.
let me speak. I'll let you speak. I listen. Whenever someone's speaking, I shut up humbly and listen. I just give respect because that's what I desire in return. That's all. So yes to your question in terms of our due diligence has to do with the bylaws. The members of my committee knows his bylaws upside down, inside out, and they held me to it. So yes to your question. I want to be able to answer all questions that are related to this process as best as I can, and I want to be able to move forward. Help me out with additional questions.
Yeah, there's still some more hands raised. Let's go to Tanisha Turner. Your hand's raised next.
Yes, I made my comment.
You made it? Okay.
Yes, I made
Thanks.
my comment
All right.
already.
I'll lower your hand. All
I'm the
right.
property manager.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Kelly Newby. She raised her hand. Or sorry, Leah LaRue.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I really just want to say that as a person, I tend to put myself in other people's shoes. And I want to point out that I do firmly believe that Reverend Elligan is doing the best that he could do, and is not, intentionally sabotaging the election or anything like that. I do hope that we continue as an NPU. I hope that we continue to improve our processes so that we have maximum transparency, participation, and fairness as a way of our as a part of the culture of our organization. In respect for the hour, I won't get preachy or anything. I would like, it appears at this time that Liz has been nominated and seconded for chair. Ashley has been nominated and seconded for vice chair. And I would ask, per the commitment that we were given in September, that the slate be updated with all those names. I don't know if you need to pull up a Word document to put that on the screen in front of us. But for the sake of fairness, I think that all the candidates who have been nominated should appear on the screen. And I'm asking that this be updated to include those names that have been nominated from the floor and seconded.
Okay. Let me share with you. I have no problem with that. Let me just share with you in terms of a response. This is the slate per the nominating committee. What we promised was a ballot that includes everyone. So the slate is what the slate is per the nominating committee. And the ballot can include additional people that have been nominated from the floor. But I want to be able to say that the nominating committee is not endorsing the one from the floor, because we cannot, per the committee, validate what we are responsible for per the bylaws is having in qualified eligible candidate.
At this point,
That's all I want to say. I'm good.
Yes, sir. I hear you, and I respect that. So two things. One, we don't have a ballot in front of us. We only have this. So
That's all I have.
I understood, but as you just pointed out, you committed to include all of the names on the ballot. And what I'm stating is that we don't have a ballot in front of us. So if you could pull up a ballot, that would be helpful. The second thing that I would point out is, if we're being honest and if we're being realistic, the majority of the membership have no idea who many of these people are, because the way our NPU is set up, we don't get to hear from the candidates. We just have to trust the word of the nominating committee. And we can say that the meetings were open, but I'm an extremely, and everybody in this meeting knows me by name, I'm an extremely active member of this NPU. I could not tell you when a single meeting was held. I never knew about them. I didn't get an email, a text message, or nothing stating that a nominating committee meeting was happening. And per our bylaws, all of our committee meetings have to be public meetings, open to the public and open to all membership. So I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm only saying that to say that people really don't know who many of these people are. We don't have the time to, give, like in neighborhood associations, we give each candidate 2 or 3 minutes and let them talk and let people ask them questions, et cetera. We clearly don't have the time to do that. So the only thing we can do is take the nominating committee's word for it with these names. I think in the interest of fairness, everyone who has been nominated, whether it's a ballot, a slate, or a piece of scrap paper, should appear on the screen in front of us so that we know and can see the names of the people that we're voting for tonight. Thank you.
And I'm not, let me respond. I'm not disagreeing with you. One of our attempts in terms of your point being valid, that you may not know some of the people that are on this particular slate. What we attempted to do, for the sake of time, is not give the opportunity for the candidate to speak, but to actually read their response to the question that was presented. A part of our due diligence were to put out an application that had 3 questions. We listed those 3 questions in the nominating procedure. Each candidate answered that. We only gave the response to one of them for the sake of time. So we tried to provide as much knowledge as we can based on, for the sake of time. Now, in terms of a ballot, we presented what we had in terms of this slate. If I had additional people, then I would have presented those at that time. Now that ones have come up from the floor, I can put that on there. I just put that on there, disclaimer on there as the chair, that for the position of chair, the nominating committee is not endorsing that, because we haven't had the opportunity per the bylaws to do our due diligence per what the bylaw states. That's the only thing I've stated. I am not referencing anyone as much as I'm referencing the process. And we met several times. We announced it. A couple of people got on the last meeting. I don't know how they received it more so than others, but we met regularly. We do have minutes from every single meeting that we've had. So, I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm not on the defense. What I do, it's in my heart, right and fair. Others may not see it in the same light. I'm saying that I will receive whatever in terms of nomination. I'm just saying what I stated in the beginning: do respect the due diligence of the committee, that we've done our work. We sent out applications with 3 questions, we reviewed it, and we put together what we thought were qualified, eligible candidates for the position. Anyone can be nominated from the floor, and I stated that, and that's what I've done. Now, I've stated, as Mr. Tobias presented a vice chair, I said I'm gonna put that up there. I will put up there Liz, but I'm also putting up there so the general body will know that the nominating committee did not have the opportunity to validate the address, which is definitely a requirement for the chair.
We've never done that before, Reverend Elegant. And it's so, I'm so sorry. I just said I was going to stop talking, but it really is so insulting for Liz. Liz is a doggone pillar of this community. Liz has been in this community since longer than so many of us and has a doggone multi-million-dollar property over there. So to question her residency when she just said out of her mouth that she is a resident, nobody did this to Kiona, nobody did this to Al Bartel, and nobody did this to whoever was before Mr. Bartel. This is not right. I'm sorry. This is not right.
I am not questioning no person. Miss Sanchez just got her comments to me was to explain what I meant in terms of due diligence, and was I referring to the bylaws? All of my statement has referenced the bylaws. Nothing has to do with the person. I did speak with the person that you're referencing. The person acknowledged that. I acknowledged that as well, but I'm only referencing the bylaws and the process that we use. I'm not referencing anybody in the past, chair or the chair before the past. I have nothing to do with that. All I know is here are the bylaws that I was given in terms of the guidelines that I must follow today.
Yeah, Reverend Elliott. Yeah, there's a couple more hands raised. I don't know if we want to go ahead and go to Carl Tyler.
Now, let me do this also. Let me try to address the ones who have had their hand raised for a moment before others who have had opportunities to ask questions and or give comments chime back in. I'll try to come back around to you, but let me be fair to the ones that have been patiently waiting with their hand per the process.
Okay, Carl.
Yes. Okay, let's go to the next one and maybe it come back around.
Okay, Gail Mapp.
Hi, I'm Reverend Elegant. So what I'm hearing you say is that Elizabeth Thompson did not fill out an application and we cannot verify that her primary residence is in NPU-J.
You're right. That's what I'm saying at this time. Correct.
So then those two factors, because of those two factors, then she cannot hold the chair position.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not. I'm saying
Okay.
that I'm saying, let me reiterate what I'm saying. The nominating committee is not introducing her as a part of the slate, but will as a part of the ballot because we attempted to be inclusive. And that's the reason why the nominating committee is not doing it. But she can and will be on the ballot for voting. I just want the general body to know that, as I've done with all the candidates, not referencing anyone in particular.
But if a person is allowed to be on the ballot, but they don't live in the NPU, then how does that work?
I don't know. You can help me out because I'm trying to be the mediator in that I'm trying to be a win-win for both sides by allowing the person to be on the ballot, but also putting a disclaimer out that the NPU nominating committee did its due diligence in verifying the eligibility of that person. But I'm just trying to mediate for the sake of peace, the process, so that we can move forward and putting that disclaimer out there. Now, if the general body votes and it's okay, then we are on record to say that. And if there's no problem, I'm good. I'm good either way in the process. I just want to state up front what we're doing and then do it. I have no issue with no person in particular.
Thank you.
All right, Carl.
Anyone else?
Carl, were you able to talk yet?
The same issue that we're basically addressing now was in the body meeting on the last discussion. That's why we tried to do our due diligence so that we would not have this issue tonight.
I've got a couple more hands. Reverend Graham.
Yes, and I would just like to say this. I have been attending the NPU meetings for years now, and we've had a situation where the chair was not a primary resident in this district, and so that person could not chair that seat. So we don't want to start 2021 with someone if they're not in the primary residence in this district. We shouldn't go for that.
That when she already said that this is her primary residence, like, why do y'all keep trying to muddy the waters like that? It's like,
then why are we having this conversation?
You're intentionally trying to
prove it. Then let her prove it.
You're intentionally trying to make
deadline. There's a deadline.
You're trying to make people think that she's not a viable candidate, and that's really not right. Like, if you stop and think about what's happening right now,
you got some crazy agendas on here.
What's the agenda? Liz is our current vice chair. What is the agenda? If she wanted to do harm, the harm would have been done. She's been a part of this NPU and in this neighborhood for I don't know how many decades. What is the agenda?
Well, you're having an agenda issue here. I'm hearing you talk more than anybody else. Can we let other people speak?
Fairness, because I live here and I care about being fair.
So do I.
I care about transparency.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm going to speak up about transparency.
Hold on a second.
Hello.
This is the parliamentarian. Hello, everyone. This is the parliamentarian. Please. We need to come back to order, okay? No more sidebar conversations, no more personal attacks. We're trying to go through a difficult process.
I mean, he just attacked our character.
We don't need the additional attacks on the individual people in the NPU. I'm going to turn this back over to the chair. Can we move the process a little forward? I think you reiterated that there's a ballot that's going to include all the names that are being nominated. Okay, so let's see if there are any additional nominations or any additional questions so we can present the ballot so we can vote.
I'm good.
I see one hand is raised, Liz Thompson.
Well, we got to lock that up from inside.
No, I was just saying, let's get away from this. I mean, this is not what I want. This is not how I want the NPU to run. This is not how our community should be looked upon.
Give it a good shot, Dodo.
For the sake of everything, I mean, whatever it is, it is. Let's vote. I mean, this is not what I want. So, I mean, let's just vote. And whatever it is. But I mean, that's not what I want. I don't want a separated community. We all need to join together. So let's just join together. Whatever it is, Virgil. But I mean, I don't want a separated community at all. And I don't want argumentative. This is not what I want. I do want to move forward. NPU-J is a pillar in the community. There's a lot going on and there's a lot at stake. We have a lot at stake right now. And we either gonna pull up and pull together or we're gonna fall apart and we're gonna lose. So I'd rather not lose and lose a candidacy than lose a community. So let's get this back together.
Okay, so if you don't mind, please follow me. This is like the third time I've asked. I would like to address those who have had their hand raised, questions, not comments, so that we can move forward. I've sought to mediate whatever comment and address only the process, not a person. So if I may, those who have their hand raised, Ben, would you provide them? Others, don't jump in, please.
Yeah, there's no other hands raised at this time.
No other hand raised at this time.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other nominations from the floor?
So this is a point of order. We have an open slot for treasurer. I am sharing the candidate nominee list. That would be technically our ballot. So if someone would like to step up for treasurer, this will be the time. Thank you.
I would nominate, sorry, this is Tim Cook. I would nominate Mary Beth Edgecombe for associate secretary. If there is none, oh, there's no treasurer. Oh. I would nominate her, but only if she was willing to accept, but that's up to her.
I'll nominate, I'll accept.
Okay, Mary Beth
Edgecombe.
Okay.
Edgecomb.
Edgecombe, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are there any other nominations from the floor? Okay. Let's start with the parliamentary. There's no opposition in terms of the parliamentary. Is there a motion or call to vote to accept?
Motion to accept, Leah.
Elizabeth Thompson, second.
Proper motion has been made and second. Are you ready for the vote?
Yes.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Or raise your hand.
Aye.
Raise your hand. We're asking that you raise your hand, and we're going to attempt to call names out because it is being recorded, and we want to make sure that what we're doing is recorded.
Could you repeat who we're voting for, please?
Parliamentary, Virgil Penny.
I'd like to make a motion, if I could, that since Mr. Penny is going unchallenged, that we accept his nomination and his acceptance of the position.
We already did the motion and seconded and carried. We at the point of actually voting, and just raise your hand. If there is no opposition, there is no one that opposes, so none that abstain, so we good. Proper motion has been made and second that we accept the parliamentarian position per Virgil Penny.
So Reverend Elgin, you want to read the names off? Is that what you're gonna do real quick? I can do it
Yep,
real
let's
quick.
do
Okay.
treasurer.
All right. I'm gonna lower everybody's hands. So the parliamentarian is Virgil Penny, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Lowering everybody's hands. And you said treasurer? We have
Treasurer.
Yep. Mary Beth Edgecombe for treasurer.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we find out a little bit about Ms. Edgecombe? Or does it matter?
I'm happy to speak for a second. I live in Grove Park. I've been here since 2015. We're homeowners. I also own and run a small business for which I do keep the books. And I am also on the board of directors of Paw Kids, which is a neighborhood nonprofit after-school program for children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ben.
Reverend Elegant,
Yes.
may I move that we accept her, since she is unopposed, we accept her nomination as treasurer?
Yes.
Second that motion.
Elizabeth Thompson, second.
Motion has been made and second that we accept the nominee, considering there's no opposition. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand.
Since she's unopposed, can we just
She's
move
unopposed,
on?
yeah.
She's unopposed.
Let's go through the associate secretary.
Okay, for the associate secretary, we have Tony Sutton.
I nominate Tony Sutton. Daniel Choman.
Great.
Second, Tony
Second.
Sutton.
Okay. And so the motion has been made and second that Ms. Sutton be the associate secretary. There are none in terms of opposition. So we're going to do as we have per the other position, except the candidate as associate secretary. Cool. Secretary? Tim Cook?
Yep, secretary.
Elizabeth Thompson nominate Tim Cook as secretary.
Dan Choman, I second that motion.
Proper motion has been made and second that we accept Tim Cook as secretary, considering there's no opposition. Vice Chair?
Okay.
Now here's what we have to do in terms of when we have opposition. We're going to do Chris Bartlett first. And all those who vote for Chris at this time, would you raise your right hand? Raise your hand, brother.
Yeah, if you're dialed in, it's *9 to raise your hand. I'll give you a couple of seconds.
Now, you cannot do both candidates.
Okay, give another couple of seconds and then I'll start counting hands. All right, for Chris, we have Derek Green, Vanessa Stanley, Gail Mapp, Deborah Williams, Sydney Peterson, Addie Calhoun, Eric Nixon, Tony Sutton, Reverend Elligan, Virgil Penny, John Mapp, Ashley Sanchez, Reverend Graham, Uzma Khan, Kiana Green, Rolanda Powell, Ola Reynolds, Tori Redding, Alicia Stevenson, Antonio Roll.
Correction to
And-
the vote, Ben,
Yes.
I'm lowering my hand. I thought it was for myself. I didn't know what person y'all wanted. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I've counted, let's see, 18 for Chris Bartlett.
Everybody lower their hand.
Okay.
And at this time, everybody clear, Ben?
Yeah, I'm clear. I'm gonna clear everybody again. Don't raise your hand just yet, guys. Okay, go ahead. All hands are lowered.
Okay. For Ashley Sanchez, Vice President, if you would, raise your hand. You cannot vote for both.
Okay, I'll wait a couple of seconds. Make sure everybody raise your hand again. If you're dialed in, it's *9. Okay, I see we have Jess Peterick. Yoron G. Tony Brown. Donovan Potter. Ronald Ramsey. Tim Cook. Mary Beth Edgecombe. Tobias Trapp. Q Reeves. Daniel Choman. Tommy Mathis. Nancy Connors. Gerald Lattimore. Elizabeth Thompson. Ashley Pruitt. Joyce Finch Morris. Timothy Freeman.
Listen,
Samantha Watkins.
did
Justin Bleeker.
Ashley not vote for somebody?
Brandon Pierre Thomas.
Ashley voted for.
Tony, can you mute yourself, please?
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Kiara Potter. Herb Edgecombe. Let's see. There's a person with the phone number 9688 raising their hand. Could you identify yourself?
That's me, Stacy Bowling.
Okay, Stacy Bowling. All right. Stacy Bowling. Tanisha Turner. Kelly Newby. Raquel Hill. Leah LaRue. Ashley Sanchez. Carrie Lawrence. Patricia Roberts. Jonathan Bell, Bill Petty, Carla Thomas, Darnell Schaefer, and that's it. So let me count. 39 for Ashley Sanchez. And again, the count was 18 for Chris Bartlett, 39 for Ashley Sanchez. So Ashley Sanchez wins the vote.
Okay.
For vice chair.
For vice chair. Let's move to chair.
Okay. Yeah, two candidates. We have Rolanda Powell and Elizabeth Thompson.
Okay.
So first
Everybody
one,
lower their hand. And we ready to vote? Those who vote for Rolanda Powell, this time, raise your hand.
okay, a couple more seconds and then I'll start counting. Again, this is the count for Rolanda Powell. We have Vanessa Stanley, Derek Green, Aaron Nixon, Chris Bartlett, Gail Mapp, Jess Peterick, Kiona Green, Deborah Williams, Sydney Peterson, Rolanda Powell, Tori Reddy, Reverend Graham, Bill Petty, Addie Calhoun, Richard Jones, Reverend Elligan, Antonio Roll, Tony Sutton, John Matt, Patricia Roberts, Tommy Mathis, Virgil Penny, Carl Tyler. 23 for Rolanda Powell. Okay, I'm gonna lower all the hands.
Ben, did you call Nanella Graham for
I did.
her raised hand?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Yep. All right. So all those in favor now for Elizabeth Thompson, yeah, please raise your hand. We'll wait a couple seconds. Okay, another couple seconds and we'll start counting.
Mm-hmm.
No, Bill Petty, Carl Tyler, Carrie Lawrence, Mary Beth Edgecombe, Q Reeves, Tobias Trapp, Ronald Ramsey, Darnell Schaefer, Donovan Potter, Elizabeth Thompson, Tony Brown, Nancy Connors, Raquel Hill, Daniel Choman, Ashley Pruitt, Carrie Potter, then we had that number again as a 9688. What was your name again? 9688. Stacy Boland. Yes, sorry.
Stacy Boland again.
Got it. All right, Stacy Boland. Timothy Freeman, Jonathan Bell, Brandon Pierre Thomas, Herb Edgecombe, Ashley Sanchez, Samantha Watkins, Tanisha Turner, Kelly Newby, John Reeves, Justin Bleeker, Timothy Cook, Gerald Lattimore, Terrence Neal, Eric Stewart, if you could identify what neighborhood you're with. I see you have your hand raised. Are you there, Eric?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, what neighborhood are you with?
Say what now?
What neighborhood?
Making Away.
Making Away. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry,
Thank
I
you,
made a mistake. I made a mistake. I voted. Y'all got me voted twice. I wanted Orlando Powell. I'm sorry. You got me on both counts. Carl Tyler.
Okay, so you had your hand raised. All right, let me remove your hand. Hang on a second. Okay, I got you. I removed you. Uzma Khan, Carla Thomas, Joyce Finch Morris, Yao Ro Jean. Sorry about that. And that is it for the votes for Elizabeth Thompson. Let me add them up. Let's see. $33 for Elizabeth Thompson. So to recap, it was 23 Orlando Powell and 33 for Liz Thompson for president.
Okay.
Chair.
So go down the slate again, and that's what we accept. Call them out again, Ben.
All right, so the slate.
No,
For
no,
tw-
the
or I mean,
final.
not slate, the final count and the final tallies for the people that will be 2021 NPU-J officers is Chair Elizabeth Thompson, Vice Chair Ashley Sanchez, Secretary Tim Cook, Associate Secretary Tony Sutton, Treasurer Mary Beth Edgecombe, and Parliamentarian Virgil Penny.
Cool. So then let me give my closing remarks and turn it back over to the chair. Let me say to all the officers for 2021, I would be remiss if my charge didn't come biblically from Michael 6:8 that specifically says, what is good and what does the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with our God. So God bless you. I wish you much success for the year 2021. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of the process. Back to the chair.
Thank you so much, Reverend Elegant and the nominating committee. Number 5 on the list is community reports. We'll start with Center Hill.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rolanda. I'm the president of Center Hill Neighborhood Association. Thank you guys for the opportunity for nominating me and voting for me. I appreciate the opportunity and I look forward to continuing to serve as president of Center Hill Neighborhood Association. So our next neighborhood association is scheduled for November the 5th. And this is an opportunity for us to share. We will also be voting there as well. And it's an opportunity for us to be sharing our reviews and accomplishments. One of the most recent things that I'm very proud of is an article that was recently listed in the AJC to help us support with the pedestrian traffic lights, 3 traffic lights that we were promised back in November to the Georgia Department of Transportation. And so we reached back out to them. There's an article that was interviewed by me with the in Atlanta Journal-Constitution is giving an update. And so that's a great article if you wanted to have an update on that. The most current information is that the first light is slated, the beacon light is slated for Center Hill in May 2021. So if you live in Center Hill, please join us. We have a very prominent and website is centerhillatl.com, or you can visit us on our Facebook. So I hope everyone have a good night, and thank you again for the opportunity to allow me to serve.
Thank you, Rolanda. Dixie Hills. Real quick.
Hello. Good evening. We have two actual requests from the NPU this evening for a resolution. The first resolution is for our Park Pride initiative, where we're doing a mural at the Anderson Park swimming pool. We're asking for a letter from NPU-J endorsing our mural for our submission to Park Pride. And our second letter we need is a letter from their support for the Dixie Hills making an initiative to ask for APS to take the Anderson Park School off of the market for us to repurpose as a multi-purpose community facility. And those are the two letters that we were asking for the NPU-J for this evening. Dixie Hills is dixiehillsatl.com. Please log in. Yeah, everybody have a good evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Grove Park.
Good evening, everybody. Leah LaRue, Grove Park. Congratulations to our 2021 officers and to the nominating committee for your work. On the election, our November meeting was moved from November 3rd to November 10th because of Election Day. I hope that everyone here has already voted or is planning to vote on Election Day. GPNA will be meeting on Tuesday the 10th, where we'll have our 2020 elections. We also have our monthly cleanup this Thursday, 2 days from today on the 29th at 6 o'clock. We'll be meeting at the Grove Park Rec Center. You can reach Yo Wrong G for more information. I'll drop her email address in the chat, or if she's here, she can do that. And we're really excited to announce on Saturday, November 14th from 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. We'll be having our neighborhood pop-up market, also called the 30318 Fall Market at 1566 Donnelly Hollowell. If anyone, I understand they still have, this is spearheaded by Ruby Bleeker, our neighbor in Grove Park. And if anyone is interested in setting up a table at the Fall Market, please reach out to Ruby and I'll drop her info in the chat as well. That's all we have. Thank you.
Moving right along, Harville Homes.
Harville Homes, we don't really have any updates other than our meeting date as well has been changed from November 3rd to November the 10th because of the election. And that's all we have today.
All right, thank you, Ms. Graham. Penelope Neighbors. Penelope Neighbors going once, going twice. All right, moving right along. Urban Villa Pine Acres.
Hey, this is Elizabeth Thompson. We don't have a major updates, but I did want to let the community know every Wednesday and Thursday we are distributing food, fresh produce, and meats and vegetables for anybody in need. So we're all distributing at 377 Westchester Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314 between 5 and 6 p.m. 4 and 6 p.m. So I just want to let everybody know if anybody is in need of groceries, we are available for them. Thank you.
All righty. Westlake. Any report from Westlake?
Westlake does not have any major updates that we wanted to share. I'd also like to offer our congratulations to the new officers for 2021.
Okay, sorry about that. Number 6, the planners report.
Hello, Cheeto here. Give me a moment. Okay, so I have a few updates and information. So for the planners report, the first thing is that the NPU University has wrapped up their 2020 course year, but you can still view the course by visiting their website, which I will post in the chat. The second update is that Atlanta Planning Advisory Board meets virtually on November 21st and every third Saturday at 10 a.m. APAB advises the city on citywide issues and objectives relative to the preparation and updating of the comprehensive development plan. And speaking of the development plan, comprehensive development plan, the Department of City Planning is kicking off its 2021 CDP update this month. A website will be launched in the coming days. This information with information about upcoming virtual public meetings and ways to get involved. I will drop some information in the chat also, and some links to that as well. And that's what I have for the planners report. And then the other thing that I have is relating to the legislation that is listed. But if you want me to go on into that.
Yes, since you have the floor, just go right ahead into it, and then we'll go to our presentations real quick.
Okay, so this is a legislation Z20 69. And it will come up again in December. Sorry, it'll come up again in November. This month, this legislation is for just review and comments, so that I can take comments, since this is an ongoing and a big conversation right now. So this is an ordinance by, give me a moment to open this up. Yeah, thank you for showing that. Escape. Okay, so this is an ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook, Joyce Shepard, J.P. Metzinger, Michael Julian Bond, and Dustin Hills to define short-term rentals and prohibit short-term rentals in R1, single-family residential, R2, R2A, R2B, R3, R3A, R4, R4A, R4B, R5, and PDHs, which is planned development housing. All those districts are single family as well as 2-family residential for R5. And so this is a ordinance that they're proposing for prohibiting that, as well as defining short-term rentals. And one of the purpose of this legislation is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the general public. This legislation proposes to regulate the use of short-term rentals. As proposed by the legislation would define short-term rentals as to include rentals of a residential dwelling unit or accessory building for periods of less than 31 consecutive days. 2, the use shall be prohibited in R1 through R5 districts, as well as PDH zoning districts. And so there's been, and like the motivation towards this has been that some short-term rentals in the area have been used as locations for loud and lascivious parties, where patrons pay a fee to attend, indulge in alcohol, drugs, and in some instances have resulted in violent behaviors and has resulted in homicides. So these are some of the points that have been brought by the council member as reasons for this proposed ordinance. And so I will take any review and comments. And if you look at the fact sheet, if it's been posted up, there's a email to send any further comments that you have. Make sure that you include in the subject line Z2069, and that email is zrb-hearings@atlantagA.gov. So I will take any questions that I can answer at this point, as well as any comments that anyone has regarding this.
This is Tobias Trapp. I have a comment. I just wanted to say that this is a very overreaching measure when you're applying this to every single zoning, the R1 through 5. I don't think this is thought out very well as far as putting a one size fits all for people that do have maybe an Airbnb where they even rent a room, for example. That to me, this is so overreaching, and I think that this is not a great piece of legislation.
Okay.
Tobias, it's my understanding this does not affect people that it's their primary residence and they're renting a room. This is for homes that basically are investor owned, or maybe somebody has a second home, but they're using it exclusively for Airbnb is what this was explained to me.
I fully understand that. I'm very quite clear on that. I'm just saying that it's overreaching in that if lots of people have Airbnbs or Verbos and they maybe have another residence that they go stay at, or they stay with a family member because they want to make some extra money for the month and rent it out for the weekend. So it's far overreaching, and that's my comment. I stand by it.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that was understood. That's all.
I've taken down your comments.
When do we have to vote on this?
So this will come back again to the, so this month is for comments, and you can continue to send comments up until like the hearing, which will be, I believe, in December, and it will come back for vote in November for the November hearing. Sorry, for the November NPU meeting.
Ms. Baker, I have a question.
Yes.
We actually don't meet in November, and it's for review and comment for October. So our next meeting, we don't convene back until December. So what do you suggest?
I can go ahead and find out from Kieta and find out what we can do with that. But also, it like I stated before, there is the ZRB email that you can send your comments, and they're taking in all the comments regarding this. And so you can go ahead and send your comments to that. But then I'm sure there will be more conversation regarding this ordinance, and I think there's other NPUs that have the same situation, so they're looking into it, and I will give you I can give you a response and make sure that the NPU is informed about when this vote would be.
Okay, thank you so much. Please email me so I can let the body know.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions for her, Ms. Baker?
Yeah, I do see a comment in chat asking where people can get a copy of this ordinance and the fact sheet. We can post it on our NPU-J-Atlanta.com website. And I don't know if there's some other links on the city websites.
And I can go ahead and post it right now in the chat, the email.
Ben, can you send it out on MailChimp to everybody also?
We can do that. I can send out an email that'll just link to the PDF documents up on the back end of the NPU website. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
This is Nancy Connors. I have a question in reference to this. So is this just affecting our area or all of Atlanta?
This is affecting all of Atlanta. This is an ordinance that would be added to the zoning ordinance, defining that. Because right now it's currently not defined. And so the idea is to define short-term rentals as well as list where they're prohibited. And
Okay, thank you.
Question, this is Paula Thomas.
Yeah, this is
Is this like an
Herb
ongoing
Edgecombe. I had a
issue?
question as well.
there are two people speaking.
Hi, this is Carla Thomas.
Mhm.
Is this an ongoing issue in the NPU-J, or is this particularly in reference to the Buckhead Mansion issue?
So this is, this applies to the entire city. So this ordinance would make this in effect, if it is approved, in effect throughout the whole city of Atlanta. And affect all, and if it goes through, would be prohibiting short-term rentals within R1 through R5 districts and PDHs in all of the city of Atlanta.
Any other
And
comments?
this is Nancy Connors again. So it's not going to be put into a general vote on this. It's just going to be put into the council to vote.
No, it's going to be put into, what do you mean general vote?
Meaning everyone will have to have a vote on this.
So it will be, it is right now circulating through the NPUs, and the NPUs are sending in their input, and then they will vote on it in November. And then if it keeps in the timeline that is currently existing, it would go to December, but it might end up being deferred until every NPU can provide a vote.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very fair for the people that actually are making some money off of this. So I will definitely send in an email to whoever on this. This doesn't seem very acceptable to me. You've got a lot of people in this area that probably are doing this, but aren't even don't even attend or don't even know what's going on. So thank you. I'll make a note of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is Herb Edgecombe. I had a question. You spoke about increases in complaint, loud parties, crime. Do you have any hard data that actually shows that there are in fact these activities associated with these short-term rentals?
And so this is not coming from the city planning department. This is coming from the council member. And so the information that is provided in there, and it also provides the council members that have put this legislation forth. And so I would suggest contacting them and finding out, as well as sending your comments to the zoning review board. But this is not, from the city planning.
If you could take that comment, I'd appreciate it. That it would be nice to actually see data rather than just a statement that says that it's a problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Hello, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And if this goes into effect, this goes into effect forever?
Yes. So if it is approved, if it is voted as approved, then it would be in effect for ever, unless another ordinance comes in opposition of it, or in changing the rules or the definition of the legislation. So.
Okay, thank you. For sake of time, can we get our questions referred to can I get a motion to have all further questions referred to the zoning committee at the next zoning committee meeting, and we can hash out the details and try to provide some kind of reasonable solution. Ben, can you let everyone know when the next zoning committee meeting is, so we can talk about this in detail for sake of time, because it's 9 o'clock.
Yes, it's normally the second Monday of the month, so that would make it November 9th would be when we would have a regular scheduled zoning committee meeting, and I will include that out in that email and postings on Facebook and Nextdoor and the website so that people can have the opportunity to attend, and we can dive into this further.
And Madam Chair, I had a question. So when would be the next meeting for the NPU outside of November?
December, the second Tuesday in December is our next general body meeting.
Second Tuesday in December.
Yeah, that'd be the December 8th.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll get back with me as to what Ms. Holmes says as to how we need to handle it, if we need to call a special meeting, or could we make a recommendation to the body from the zoning committee meeting?
Yes, I will definitely check in with her. And so, based on because the potential dates for the hearing at the ZRB would be either December 3rd or December 10th. And so we'll see what, because that hasn't necessarily been set in stone yet. So once it has been decided what day it's going, it will be possible that since the next meeting will be on the 8th, if it is on the 10th, then it is possible and make sure that the NPU votes before it goes to ZRB. So I will let you know of that information, and yeah. Okay. Hello?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. My internet is unstable.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I heard most of what you said. Just make sure that you contact me so we'll know how to handle this, because this is a real serious matter to the residents. Okay, the next person, City of Atlanta. I'm sorry. Thank you, Ms. Baker. Are you done? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes.
Thank you so much. City of Atlanta Department of City Planning, Atlanta Design / Housing, Mr. Kevin Bacon.
I'm speaking about my counterpart, Josh Humphreys. I think that's outdated. The Atlanta City Design Housing was supposed to be deferred to the next meeting.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
But I'm here to speak on the Northwest Freight Cluster study as a substitute for Nate Hosel.
Okay, go right ahead. City of Atlanta Department of City Planning, Northwest Atlanta Industrial Area Freight Cluster Plan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for making time for this brief presentation on what was a very loaded agenda this evening. I'm here to give, on behalf of the Department of City Planning Office of Design, my name is Kevin Bacon. I'm the director of our Office of Design. Wanted to give you all an update on a study we're looking to start hopefully early next year called the Northwest Freight Cluster Study. There should be a project fact sheet that was sent along with the agenda, but I'll also post a copy of that in the chat here as I finish up. The reason for the study is looking at the Northwest Atlanta area, is understanding that there's an established industrial area here, as well as some very vibrant and thriving communities, and those things often don't exist peacefully together. And as the city kind of looks to how it's growing in the future, how do those things coexist, or do they? And we really wanted to undertake a study that looked at what's happening with the industrial areas, what's happening with the neighborhoods, what's the long-term viability of that, and what are the actual projects, particularly in terms of transportation infrastructure, that would need to result from that, whether it's looking at the truck routes through the area, whether it's street improvements to accommodate multiple users. That's all a part of this study. We understand that the truck traffic, as we've been talking to other NPUs, is a very big concern, and certainly with Hallowell coming through here, that's going to be a big one that we look at too. The reason we're bringing this up now, before we're even getting started, is we did win an Atlanta Regional Commission grant for the freight cluster study to the tune of $250,000. There's a local match required for that. Council member Hillis has been a big supporter of this and has put in $12,000 of his own money. We are working with Invest Atlanta and the Perry Bolton TAD to secure the remaining $50,500 for the local match. This will go to hiring a consultant and doing the study. And we just wanted to go to the NPUs and let them know that this is something that we're going to be asking for from the TAD. It did go to the Perry Bolton TAD advisory group earlier this month and would be going to the Invest Atlanta board next month to confirm or deny that funding. But that's the next move of the study. And once we have the funding secure, get the contract done, we'll be looking at onboarding a consultant team and starting the work next year. We imagine this being a very public process, working with the NPUs and the neighborhoods here to understand, how you see the area and what you would like to see done, and would look forward to working with you all. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time this evening.
All right. Thank you. The Eugenia Street Partners, Mr. Tony Pope.
Good evening, everybody. Want to congratulate the incoming officers and thank the outgoing officers for a job well done. I want to talk a little bit about sort of an idea that we're trying to present to the NPU-Js. It's called Eugenia Place Cottages. Next page, please. I want to tell you a little bit about Eugenia Street Partners. This is a development that my wife and I have created. We're both architects. We're the authors of the iVillage Shipping Container Park, which is the first shipping container park in the state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta. And we were actually the recipients of the 2020 Gold Medal Award for Economic Excellence for the park. We have a strong interest in modular housing, and our interest has been really how to provide affordable, obtainable housing for workforce employees and for those who can't really afford the upper level income homes. I presented a presentation to the city of Atlanta last year for a pilot program that would merge sort of public and private parties together to create interesting developments in communities. And we found a parcel of land on Eugenia Place, 873, which is owned by the land bank. And our interest there was to create this public-private partnership where we would use a land trust in developing a mixed income grouping of what we're calling modular cottages. Next, please. The proposed site is 873. It was an existing apartment building of 15 units that's been demolished. The site is an interesting one because it actually turns the corner from industrial to residential. It's bordered by a wonderful granite wall, some wonderful tree strands, and the neighborhood is starting to pick itself up. I'm a board member with MicroLife Institute, and we have been promoting a lot of pocket communities and neighborhoods. And we looked at this as a perfect opportunity to develop an obtainable housing development that would be mixed income. And our interest has really been not rental, but providing home ownership. And so we were targeting the 65% through 85% market range. Next page, please. So I want to talk a little bit about how this works. This site was a perfect place that we felt we could develop 9 unique homes or cottages. These are modular houses. The existing site on here had a apartment building, 15 units. We're doing a reduction in the density of this particular site. Next slide. We're going to keep the existing granite walls. The goal would be to run utilities down the middle. We create some additional matching retaining walls to sort of frame the site. Next slide. And then we would bring in new permeable pavements and drive aisles. The goal here again is we are hiding all the vehicles so that the cars aren't a prominent view of the people walking by. Next slide. This is a walking community that we're developing, and the ideal here is to develop relationships between neighbors. So these are smaller residential units, but actually in the same scale as the rest of the community. Next slide. So some of the benefits of what we're trying to do, these are factory fabricated homes, which will reduce the overall cost of the construction and the speed in which we can get it out. They are higher quality controlled homes so that we can control the pieces and parts that go in it. So we're able to provide higher quality materials. By building these residences in a factory, we are able to reduce theft and damage that you would typically have on site. The beautiful thing about this is while the site work is being done in this community, the houses would be built in the factory simultaneously. So this timeline for us is 3 months. We're actually going to be able to build 9 houses in 3 months, and it takes 3 days to install. So the beauty of this is modular and site done at the same time, less disruption to the neighborhood. These are more efficient than your standard houses and than what you would typically get out of a wood construction. And each house is going to be packed with technology so that will help manage the utilities that are in each space. They're also designed so that you will never be able to determine between what we're calling the affordable and the market rate units, which is the differ. What we are not tiny homes. These are tiny homes or residences that are mounted on wheels. And those aren't allowed in the city, and they're not manufactured homes, which are mobile homes and controlled by HUD. We're actually what's called a purpose-built modular house. It's built on the framework of a shipping container, but the container has never been used for shipping. It's actually done that way so that we can move and transport these things. So what we've been able to do is we can move these residences by boat, train, or a truck, but not necessarily having to have flagmen, et cetera, to impede what we're trying to do. Next page. So the houses are going to be 2 and 3 bedroom units. They're going to be market rate through 65 to 85%. The average 2-bedroom house is 700 to 900 square feet, and then 800 to 900 for the market rate. Pricing of these structures will be 148,000 to 206 for the affordable, and the market rate is 223 to 258. Next page. So some of the design influences that we've been looking at, we have not finished with the design of the houses. Our intent is to work with the NPU-J in terms of crafting the final elevations of these homes. Right now, we're in the process of, we have applied for a letter of interest in the property, and we do have funding for the project, and it's been sort of thumbs up so far through the agencies that we've talked to. Typically on our work, we will do color studies, and the bottom row on this plate right here shows you, we look at colors that we find in the neighborhood to help generate complementary colors. The other thing that we've been very interested, which is evident in this particular neighborhood, is the use of porches. And so that is going to be evident in the product that we finally render out, which each house will have porches so that we have eyes on the neighborhood and the community. We're also engaging a local artist to help us to embed some public art in the project. Next page. The final site plan will kind of, we are envisioning, looks like this is a mixture of 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom units, along with a central courtyard. There'll be a dog walk in the back. drive aisles to hide all the cars. Okay, next one. So our current status, we have filed a letter of interest to purchase the property from the Atlanta Land Bank. We're waiting on final decision there. We obtained funding from a private equity group 2 weeks ago. Total project cost for this is $1.7 million. We envision this to take about 5 to 6 months to complete. There won't be a need for any zoning changes or funding from the city of Atlanta. Next one, I think that should do me. Yep, and that's it. And I can take any questions if you have anything.
Yes, I have a question. This is Tobias Trapp speaking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is the kind of shadiness that we were talking about earlier with the discussion. You know, the very fact that Derek Green, whose wife is the president of this committee, is coming back here now using you as the face of this that was already presented last month and we voted it down. And then I, as the chair of the zoning committee for Grove Park, had set up a time 2 times with Derek to meet about this because he wanted to explain something to me, and he stood me up twice. And now here you all come with the same project that we already voted on to come and get a vote again for the same project that was denied. I mean, that is so disingenuous. I'm just flabbergasted.
Tobias.
And would you mind if I finish? I'd also like to say, I would also like to say that not only did we vote it down and did Derek stand me up, but I also posted about why these types of homes are not very conducive to the climate in our state. But that was removed from the NPU Facebook page. So I mean, I just don't understand why we're here voting on something again.
Did you finish?
I'm not talking.
Okay. Derek Green is a team member with us, and we presented this twice. I asked the chair president if I could present the project again and explain to everybody. To your correctness, we do not own the land right now, so I really can't discuss in terms of this actually happening until we purchase the land. What we're trying to do right now, Tobias, is just introduce the community to some alternative forms of housing. The city is in need of around 26,000 units of housing. It's just not happening. We have found a unique way of providing modular houses to the community at an affordable rate. And that's what we're just trying to present to you. Nothing more. I'm not trying to shove our development team is the same team. We're not trying to shove anything down this community. We're not enforcing this on this group. It's just merely trying to introduce an alternative form of housing as a housing choice, and that's it.
Right. An alternative form of housing that was already presented, but now presented by a different face, but the same community. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, like, it's so disingenuous, it's beyond belief. I can't even, I just don't even get it. I mean, if you're gonna BS a BSer, then go ahead and just say it, like, plain and simple.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Hello, Mr. Trapp, and I'm NPU-J. This is Derek Green. Real quick, the initial proposal, and this has changed, I think Mr. Pope did say that, we thought that the deal was kind of dead. And so there was no need to meet with you earlier in the month. So that's why I think one time you stood me up, but it's okay. I mean,
that's fine. I can show you the receipt.
And that's okay.
No, I didn't stand you up, sir. Don't compromise integrity. I did not stand you up. I had 2 standing appointments with you. You're not going to sit here and tell me that I stood you up. Don't come for my integrity when you coming up in here like a snake. Don't do that.
Let's be now, come on now.
Girl, let me get out of
parliamentarian.
Because I'm not the one. I am not the one.
Point of order.
Excuse me. Is our parliamentarian present? I'm sorry. This is too much.
Yes, he is. And once again, please no sidebar conversations.
Thank you.
Ben,
just keep it to the discussion.
Ben, you can easily use the mute button. Just use it. People can see.
Yeah, mute her.
Okay. Everyone, please, let's get through the presentation. If there's a question that's on the floor, we have presenters that can answer the question so that we can move forward. Thank you.
To your point also, Tobias, Eugenia Street Partners doesn't exist yet because the whole project is based off of us obtaining the parcel. So if the parcel is, if we are approved to purchase the parcel by Land Bank, then the next step for us is Eugenia Street Partners is formed, and then we start the funding of the project. So it's just everything is sort of tied to the property.
So Mr. Pope, am I to understand then that you're not here for a vote, since this is or maybe I'm asking Derek this question, I don't know, but to one of you, it sounds like this is it's the same project, but it's a new application or new, there was a material change to the application, so it's not the same thing you presented last month. Is that correct?
It's still moving in the same direction. Initially, we were going to use a land trust, and the investment group has veered away from that decision. So it's still 9 cottages, averaging from 700 to 800 square feet.
So then you're not looking for another, okay, so to Mr., I know Tobias made comments earlier. To his point, the NPU did vote on this item. And so for it to come back to the NPU for another vote is unheard of unless it's a new application, at which time it would have gone through the same process of going before the neighborhood and going before the NPU zoning committee, et cetera. So if it's the same application, I would wonder why we're
Leah, if I could speak up, just as zoning chair, I think what we were asked to vote on last month was to present a letter of support for them to go and move forward.
Correct.
It doesn't sound like they're asking us for a letter of support anymore.
Right.
So it might, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm asking. What is it that we're doing? Is this just a presentation, Mr. Pope, or is there more?
It is just a presentation
So you're not
of
looking
modular housing.
Okay, that wasn't clear. Thank you for clarifying that. And thank you, Ben, for helping with that. That wasn't clear. So this is just a presentation. You're not looking for any vote of any kind.
I can't look for any vote of any kind right now because the property is owned by the city of Atlanta.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Pope. Thank you,
Yep.
Ben.
Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, that's it for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Next order of business is there any old business? Nope. And if there's no new business?
Madam Chair, I do have something I want to ask for.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm coming to the NPU as Friends of Center Hill Park, and also for Center Hill Neighborhood Association, which it jointly created the Friends of Center Hill Park. We have an application where we're applying for a Park Pride Community Building Grant, and we need a letter of support from the NPU to basically approve our idea of moving funds from this grant and do an improvement of a trail inside of Center Hill Park. So I'm going to share my screen. For those that aren't familiar with Center Hill Park, it's a 46-acre park. It's over 50% of it is heavy trees and undergrowth, and it's split in half by Proctor Creek. So our proposed grant idea is to begin a series of trails throughout the wooded area that would be utilized for hiking and biking, and also to connect up at some point and build a bridge that would go over Proctor Creek and connect up the two ball fields that are split with the creek. So there's no way, if a family or children are playing games on different fields, there's no way for them to easily move from one field to the other without going all the way around Donnelly Hollowell and then down Wood Street. So the first trail with this grant would be able to be almost a 1 mile trail that you see on the map in red, that would connect up from the basketball pavilion around the backside of the baseball field, along, it would follow along Proctor Creek and then cut back over to the other side. And this will be phase one of hopefully many, many trails and many improvements to the park. So I'm just coming to you to see if we could get a letter of support to that would need to be included in our application for Park Pride for this community building grant of $25,000.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Do we have opportunities for questions? Are you finished, Ben?
Yes, go ahead. Mhm.
Oh, okay. I don't remember, maybe I might have missed this, but did you show this presentation to Center Hill?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, was it last meeting or?
It was.
Okay, and was it presented to the neighborhood executive board?
Yeah, we voted on it at the Center Hill meeting and approved this.
Okay, I didn't know that was on the agenda for the meeting because I don't remember it being brought to the executive board to talk about it and then talk about it and then put it on the agenda for the neighborhood association. So I missed that part. So I'm not sure, I'm not real familiar with this whole process, particularly a little bit concerned as being the president, but I just wanted to, I wasn't familiar with the steps that where we are right here. So I'm requesting that it can go back to Center Hill Neighborhood Association. I'm not familiar with a grant. I don't remember that conversation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I would suggest that we go back to do, and then we would present it to the NPU.
Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, Roland. I mean, it was in the PowerPoint presentations and we presented it at the meeting, and then we all voted to approve it with a letter of support from Center Hill.
Okay,
So,
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, yeah, I think it was a meeting maybe you weren't in attendance of. Sorry, yeah, I don't. The application.
Can I make a motion for that?
Well, you can.
So
The
that
application.
missed because it was voted by the Center Hill Neighborhood Association, so we passed that, I guess, even though the president wasn't aware of it. But it's passed, so we go ahead and talk about it in the NPU. So if that's the process, I like to follow the process.
Okay. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, the application grant is due this weekend. So if we don't approve it now to have that letter of support, I guess I just would have to submit it without a letter of support from NPU-J, but that would definitely impact.
Ben, the letter is not one of the qualifications for the Friends of the Park, a letter from the neighborhood. This was just.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying I wasn't aware of it, that's all, and I'm not sure what's.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
I wanted to just put that out there, but I want to continue the process and the flow of how it's supposed to go. If that's supposed to go.
Well, I mean, I'll entertain a motion. Did you say you want to defer this back? Is that the motion you're presenting? Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Keon, I guess you need to conduct the, are you going to conduct the vote?
Can you call for discussion on the motion?
Yeah, but I'm confused. This is a Friends of the Park grant. It's due, November 1st. And if you guys want to take that back to your Center Hill, your executive board, or your neighborhood, or, call a special meeting, the NPU being a part of the process is not on the application. We're doing the exact same application. So
I just wanted to put that I wasn't aware of what was happening.
Oh no, I understand. So you all can just take that back to your neighborhood. You really don't need the NPU. Yeah, you don't need the NPU for this particular grant.
Okay, then I
Yeah,
guess I'll withdraw it from
Yeah,
the
you can withdraw,
discussion.
you
then.
don't need it. It's not a part, it's the city's letter. The neighborhood has to be in support, but it doesn't necessarily need the NPU. The grant application does not specifically say that. So,
Okay,
so you're withdrawing your motion.
I'll withdraw the motion, or withdraw this presentation. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. It's good. All right, with all that being said, we'll adjourn this meeting.
Excuse me, my hand has been raised, Madam Chair.
Oh, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead.
Sorry. I had two questions on that park project, the park, Center Hill Park. Ben, my first question is, what role are you playing with Center Hill?
Since this is not related to, can I answer that? Since this is not related to the NPU, and just for sake of time, could you guys discuss that personally, and we can officially adjourn the NPU rather than hold us on this, call. It's 9:40.
The park item was brought up before the body, and so I don't think that my question is inappropriate for the body. And
yeah, I didn't say it was inappropriate. That's not what I said.
For the general body, for this meeting.
Yeah, but I didn't use the word inappropriate. I didn't say that.
Okay, so Ben, I have two questions that I would like to go on the record. You cannot answer them if you don't want to answer them, or if the chair doesn't want you to answer them. One is, what is your role in Center Hill? Because that I was a little confused by that. And two is this project, or are you aware that Center Hill Park is a part of it is in Grove Park? So is this project only in the Center Hill section, or is it also in the Grove Park section? And if so, are y'all seeking any sort of collaboration with Grove Park, or are you seeking to do this without?
So yeah, to answer your questions, I am the Center Hill Environmental Chair, and I have property right across the street on Gary Road in Center Hill. So I'm part of the Center Hill Neighborhood Association, pay my dues. And I stepped in to help working with the neighborhood association and as an environmental chair. And we created a Friends of Center Hill Park this year to try to activate the park, because that's a big initiative with Park Pride, to try to get the community built around activating the parks. So I just stepped up in that role to help organize. And, unfortunately, I'm sorry that Rolanda, got disconnected with a meeting that she didn't attend, and I apologize for that. I didn't realize that had happened. I'm sorry, but I thought everything was good with that. But I did not. As far as what you're speaking to about part of the park being in Grove Park, I'm not aware of that myself.
Yeah,
so we definitely
the baseball diamond, that back part of, and Rolanda and I talked about that a while ago, because I talked to our previous neighborhood president about working with Center Hill to get the park fully within the Center Hill boundaries. It doesn't benefit Grove Park, and this is my personal opinion, obviously just a personal opinion. It doesn't benefit Grove Park to have a part of Center Hill's namesake park in Grove Park's boundaries. Center Hill should obviously have full ownership or reign over their namesake park. But, in terms of actual legal boundaries, part of that park is in Grove Park. So I just wanted I didn't know if you were aware of that or whatever. And we can talk.
I was not. That's very good. Yeah. So we definitely can engage further discussion. So the Friends of Center Hill Park is technically, I guess, its own entity as far as when we formed. Now, we formed it as part of the membership that made up the Center Hill Neighborhood Association. So, again, thinking it was all part of the Center Hill territory. But if it's split, we definitely can theoretically talk about expansion or what future options there are with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the time, and thank you, Ben.
All right, really quick, Councilman Bond has requested to speak, so he'll speak, and then Uzma can speak about the health fair, and then we'll adjourn the meeting. So Councilman Bond, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't want to belabor your meeting, but just wanted to make you aware that I was here in attendance, and wanted to know if there were any questions for me. We have been working in the Post One office for the last several months through the pandemic and trying to address the needs of the greater community as they've been affected by COVID-19. We've set up many testing sites in various communities. We continue to do food distribution with community partners around the city. We have some events this weekend. It's not in NPU-J, but it's open to the public at the Walter and Andrew Young Y on Campbellton Road. From 3 to 6, we'll be doing a food distribution. I believe it's COVID-19 testing, and of course, drive-by Halloween for children. Of course, we're going to observe all the COVID-19 guidelines, and during that event, we've also worked with Commissioner Hall on some of these, and we're now working with the Fulton County Board of Health to try to set up as many free flu shot venues as we can, because it's more important now to get a flu shot during this pandemic, as we are clearly into the third wave. And we want to continue to ask people to continue to get tested. I've been tested about 5 times because when you get tested, that's really just a snapshot in time. And if you continue to move about and get exposed, you want to be aware of your status, and want to encourage everyone to continue to wear a mask. And want to know if anybody's got a question for me. Hello?
Any questions for?
Yeah, I had my hand raised,
it
but I was just waiting to be acknowledged.
Yeah, I have a question too.
But Councilmember Bond, I was just wondering if you were on the call or privy to the conversations surrounding the potential vote for the short-term rental ordinances, and if you were going to keep that in mind when it comes up for a vote.
I didn't hear the discussion, but in this NPU, but I've been on a couple of NPUs tonight, and since they've come to the fore, and I have listened to the opinions and expressions of members on the public and on people on both sides of the issue. I have signed on to both papers actually. One would limit it in broader zoning, housing zoning areas. The other would seek to regulate it. At a minimum, I think that it needs to be regulated. A block from where I live, some individuals were murdered coming out of a home that was being used for a short-term rental. Of course, we received lots of complaints over the past months, but recently, since the legislation was introduced, we've gotten calls for persons who are participating in those programs they asked us to slow down and take a closer look at it. And that's what I'm in favor of.
Any more questions for Councilman Bond? Hello?
Okay, well, I'll consider that a no, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. And of course, if you'd like to volunteer with us or collaborate with the office on any of these types of community outreaches, any groups or persons, we're more than happy to have you participate. And of course, if you come to the function on Saturday and you want to volunteer, you got to wear a costume. So hopefully I'll have on one the Councilmember Overstreet and others. We want to make it fun for the children in the community. So we'll see you there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm. All right, Uzma, really quick, and then we'll adjourn the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. So good evening, everybody. I'll be really quick. Saturday, the 31st, we're having a Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition is setting up a free health screening event. The address is 2176 Donnelly Howell Parkway, Atlanta, and the timings are 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're offering prostate cancer screening, blood pressures, COVID-19 testing, of course, and nutrition counseling and mental health counseling. So I hope that you guys will take advantage of this free screening. Again, it is this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm done. I won't talk much. I know everybody's.
All right. Thank you, Uzma. And we'll officially end this meeting at 9:50 p.m. Thank you.